All right, so today is Saturday, and it is Saturday morning. So I did make it out to a cemetery earlier this week, and I was out in Mound, and I decided to go do an investigation over there. And I haven't quite taken the time. I just made another video about time a minute ago, but haven't taken the time to go over this footage yet, and I'm kind of worried about going over it, and I'm not gonna lie to you, because something was different there. So obviously I'm in Texas. Flower Mound is a little town in Texas here, and I mean, I guess it's not little. Wow, that's a big bump. So I guess it's not little, but it is a place out in Texas. It's not one of our bigger places in DFW, but that's where it is. So if you don't know, it's a space inside of Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. So while I was out at the cemetery, it's Texas. It's the summer. It is about 100 degrees outside, and while I'm shooting, I always carry an ambient temperature thermometer that also has a thing for electronics to be able to pick up electronic signals. So on this ambient temperature sensor that I carry with me, it was reading about 99 to 100 degrees, and I was walking around and I got into some shady areas. So once I got into the shady spots, it dropped down to about 97. And since this is an ambient temperature, not an instant temperature thermometer, what that means is that it's taking all of the air sensor around, and basically it's compiling it, and it's trying to get it figured out. So it comes up with its own reading. So at 97, that's what it was holding at. So when I call a temperature a holding temperature, that means that I stayed in that spot for several minutes. I allowed it to drop into whatever temperature it's going to drop into, and then I stood there for several minutes to make sure that that temperature stayed at that mark, so that way I can consider that an actual temperature. So in the shaded spots, it was coming out to 97. So I came across a pair, and I say a pair because there was two, a pair of what it looked like. They weren't really fresh graves that were dug, but you could tell that the soil had been disturbed and things like that. But they were two graves from the best of my knowledge, from the papers that were there. I was able to see that they were there from about the end of 2020. So maybe about 6, 7, 8 months or so. But the soil did look a little bit different, and I saw like some holes that seemed odd, but it's just because the way the soil sets. So there's nothing strange about that. But it just looked different, so I walked over to it. Now, while I was standing there, I still had the sun around me, and this was a shaded area. But while I was in that area, I started noticing that my temperature on my ambient sensor was continuously dropping. So it went from 99 in the sun to 97 in the shade, then it went down to 95, then it went down to 94, 93, 92, 91, and it stood around 90 degrees. So there was something very different about the air in that area. I haven't listened to my audio. I have my audio recorder going, and I haven't watched the video yet. And I kind of got to psych myself up a little bit for these things. If you're doing these types of investigations, yes, going to a cemetery may not be the absolute best place or whatever, but you have to remember is that most of the time, if these people had a lot of time and they were able to get things figured out, these cemeteries, a lot of people say cemeteries aren't somewhere where you would want to go if you were a ghost or whatever. But I don't agree with that, because if it's somebody that planned out their funeral, they chose this location as a location they wanted to be at for the rest of eternity. So I do have a hard time thinking that they wouldn't want to stick around a cemetery. Yes, they might want to, move around, but they made a decision. This is where I want to be. So, and that was when they were alive. So, but there was definitely something that was different about that area. So I am going to have to look at it, but I just wanted to give y'all an update, let y'all know what all was going on with the investigations. But yeah, that's something to be looking forward to. Hopefully before the end of next week, I'm going to have that video. I'm going to critique it. I'm going to go over it. I'm going to try to see if I can find anything that was going on in that area. But yeah, absolutely, temperature dropped about 9 degrees. And which, like I said, even in the shaded areas, it was dropping about 2 degrees. So even over that, we got about 5 times higher drop in temperature in that one location. So I'm definitely going to look into that, see what was going on there, and I'm going to take a look around, try to find my next place that I'm going to go to, but just wanted to let everybody know what was going on with that. And if you're not already subscribed, try to click the subscribe down wherever the heck it is. I don't know how this works very well yet. And make sure to hit the like as well. So hope to hear from y'all soon, and have a great day.